Welcome to Prescott Today. I'm John Heiney. I'm the Community Outreach Director for the City of Prescott. I'm filling in for City Manager Dallin Kimball. We have a great show for you today. We are going to talk about all things Prescott Public Library. I have two guests today with me. First, Melissa Orr, who is the Director of the Library, and Paula Fortier, who is the Assistant Director for Prescott Public Library. Are you ready to get started?
Yes, we are.
Sure.
Excellent, great. So I'm going to start out with the very first question. Melissa, tell us about yourself and your time in Prescott.
You bet. I've been here officially a year as of July 1st. I came from the Valley where I worked for the Scottsdale Public Library for almost 19 years. Prior to that, starting back at the beginning of my career, I was a school librarian in Georgia for 4 years. And then I became a public librarian in Littleton, Colorado, and then moved to Scottsdale and was there in different capacities up until being the interim library director before becoming the director up here.
Wonderful. So just a little over a year.
Yes.
How are you enjoying Prescott so far?
I absolutely love it.
Great. Awesome. Great. Paula, tell us about yourself. I know you've been here a little bit longer than Melissa.
Right. I've been here 2 years. Also, like Melissa, I came from the Valley. I was with Phoenix Public Library for over 25 years. And I worked in a lot of different capacities in that time, a lot of public service, frontline, went into management, and then into the administration for the last 13 years that I was there. Over the 16 branches and the public service staff at the Central Library. It has been such a joy to come here to Prescott. It's all amazing to me how wonderful the services are that the library provides here. It always amazes me that they do so much out of a much smaller facility. So it's been a breath of fresh air coming up.
That's great. I think we're going to talk about some of those services for the show to come. So, Melissa, I'm going to start out with you.
Okay.
How popular is the Prescott Public Library?
I have to say, Prescott loves their library, and I can see why. Being from the Valley, I knew about the Prescott Library before I came up. I knew how popular it was, but I had no idea how much the community loves and supports the library here. When I was being interviewed, the amount of people that came out to meet the candidates and to talk about the services was absolutely amazing. And so I just was reaffirmed how much the community loves the library. And one of the things we wanted to show that was with our 50th anniversary we've recently had. And we wanted to have the public tell their story about how much they love the library. And so we had a campaign that says, tell us your story. And so having been at the library, the location where it's at for 50 years, we wanted to hear some historical information, whether it was from 50 years ago or current, of how the library made a difference in someone's life. And we can talk about statistics. We can say that we have close to 1,000 people a day. We can say how many books we check out. But the difference we make in someone's life was really what we were getting to the heart of with our celebration. And so we came up with close to 60 stories that were given to us about the amazing things the library has meant to individuals over the years.
Wow, that's great. So can you share some of those stories with us?
I can. I brought a few with me, and this one is very fun. I think everyone will enjoy this. I have always enjoyed borrowing and browsing the library, and I often check the books for sale, which is how this story started. My husband and I often fly for business and pleasure. While on a plane to the Cayman Islands, I noticed a passenger in front of us who kept staring at my husband, who was on an aisle seat. And he was reading a book that I had purchased for him from the Prescott Public Library. About 15 minutes later, the passenger approached us and asked my husband, "Do you like that book?" My husband said, "Yes." The passenger said, "I wrote it." My husband was a bit surprised and somewhat startled. The passenger asked, "How much are they selling it for these days?" They opened the front of the book and saw the penciled in mark. It was 75 cents. He jokingly said, "That much?" My husband checked the picture of the passenger in the book, and even though it had been 15 years, he easily recognized Buzz Aldrin, the second man to walk on the moon. So Buzz signed the book, First on the Moon, to Barry with best wishes, Buzz Aldrin. This was back in 1985. And this lady remembered this and gave us this story. And she ends it with, "What a coincidence that our paths should cross, all because I found a great book by a great man in a great library."
That is a great story.
Right?
Thank you for sharing that. Is there another one that you'd like to share?
One more.
Okay.
Okay. So this one's a little sadder, but it shows you the difference that a library can make in a community. Many years ago, I had to leave a domestic violence situation and moved in with my daughter for a time. I didn't have a job or access to a computer. The Prescott Library was there for me. I not only had access to a computer and other resources, but it also gave me a place to go each day. The library staff were kind to me and helped me maneuver through job searches and showed how I could find legal advice. They were patient with my many questions. The Prescott Library was truly a lifesaver for me.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yes.
What great stories. I know there's so many more. So thank you for sharing those with us. We appreciate it. So Paula, how long has Prescott had a public library?
Well, the community support for the library in Prescott goes way back. It was in 1893 that the Monday Club, which was a group of women that were focused on education and civic betterment, began to discuss building a library. And they petitioned Andrew Carnegie to build one here in Prescott. There were delays that Prescott was caught in from the fire in 1900 that burned down a big portion of the collection that they had been gathering. But they persevered, and in November of 1903, the library opened to the public, and it was the first Carnegie Library in Arizona. So we have one of the oldest libraries predating the state, obviously. And then in 1917, the Monday Club deeded it to the city, and it became the Prescott Public Library run by the city. And it served the community for a long time until truly, as the community grew and the demand surged, they decided they had to move to a larger facility. And so again, there was a public campaign that helped augment the city funds to build the library that we have today on Marina and Goodwin Streets. And that is why we celebrated our 50th anniversary for that building. And it didn't remain the same even then because, again, the demand and use continued to burgeon. And in 2005, they did a large renovation utilizing additional funds that the public gathered. And that is now the footprint that we are in. So it's been a joy to work in that library. It's even though it's 50 years old, it doesn't look it or feel it. It's just a very vibrant, live place.
So the new library is 50 years old. Yeah.
The new library is 50 years old.
And continuing to grow, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And the needs are still there, which is awesome. I know the former library building is just down the street on Gurley and Marina. Beautiful building. What a great story with Andrew Carnegie. I know he funded thousands of libraries across the country, but how cool that that was the first one in Arizona.
Exactly. He was such a philanthropist, and yeah, there are Carnegie libraries across the nation.
Yeah, that's great that we have one. That's awesome. So Melissa, I think we talked about it a little bit, but you recently had a public event that was wildly successful. Tell us about it.
We called it our Fest in the West. It was the culmination of all of the activities that we were doing to celebrate the 50 years of the library on Goodwin Street. And we wanted it to be a big community event. And we wanted to be able to invite everyone out for entertainment, for fun, for education. We included our partners, we included our city departments. We had at least 32, I believe, of our nonprofits and our partners there. And for this event, it was meant to be a one-time event. We all were excited about it, but we said never again because it was a lot of work. From the very moment we started putting it together, we could feel the difference that it was making. We felt from the public how much they enjoyed it. And so we had over 3,000 people in a 3-hour time period. And we did this with the help of our friends of the Prescott Public Library. They're an amazing organization. And because of their assistance and because of how we felt about it, we are going to continue to do this annually. Obviously, it won't be a 50-year anniversary every year, but we're going to morph it into the kickoff of our summer reading program every year. And so we're going to continue this tradition. We saw the difference it made. We heard nothing but good things. And it's a way for us to continue to show what the library means to the community and how we wanted to appreciate them by having them come to such an event.
And what great support. What is your daily visitation to the library on average, would you say?
It's about 1,000 people a day.
So in 3 hours, you had 3
hours.
times that amount of people for an event.
Correct.
So that's tremendous community support.
Very tremendous. And we don't feel that that was even accurate. It could be even more. So just seeing that support was very heartwarming for all of us.
Great. So worth doing it over again.
Worth doing it again.
Excellent. That sounds good. So we talked a little bit about your backgrounds, and you both had careers in other libraries in Phoenix area. So I'll start with you, Melissa. What do you see is different about working at the Prescott Public Library? What excites you about the Prescott Public Library?
I would say, for me, it is the overwhelming support. It's hearing out in the community how much this library is loved. I can't go anywhere without hearing how amazing the library is. And you don't really know that until you experience it yourself. We have the best staff. We have the best support in the city. We have amazing volunteers. Our friends, they're the best group I've ever worked with. And just knowing that regardless of what you do, you have support. And seeing that, feeling that has been incredible to me. I would also say I didn't know at the very beginning that Prescott was the largest library in Yavapai County. And knowing that now excites me to try to always make it the best. So I love a good challenge. You know I love football and sports. And so I love the challenge that comes with being the biggest and wanting to be the best. And it is a goal I have every single day.
That's wonderful. That's great. So what about you, Paula?
I think for me, in addition to everything that Melissa mentioned, as I mentioned earlier, I am just always astounded at how much the library offers. Our staff they're just amazing. They truly care so much about the community and are always open to adding a service that they feel the community needs. And coming from Phoenix Public Library, which is the largest in the state, I was just amazed at how many services Prescott offers that they did not. And these include things like homebound services, where people who cannot come to the library, we take books out to them. We offer one-on-one tech help for people who are struggling with technology. They don't know how to use their new phone. They don't know how to download materials to their phone or listen to an audio book. They can come in and get one-on-one assistance. We offer virtual genealogy mentoring. So people who are doing ancestry research can get one-on-one assistance with a specialist who can guide them through that process and help them in that time dive into specific questions. We offer book drops out in the community, so you don't have to come all the way into the library. You can drop it off at Lowe's or Fry's or Walmart, and we'll pick it up and bring it back in. We have a community services specialist, and this is not a social worker, but someone who can take extra time with somebody in need. They can help link them to resources in the community, other organizations or services, or they can take the time to sit down and help them fill out a form, get them to the right place, and then help them do those kinds of things, which is just a wonderful service. It's very popular, heavily used by everybody, from uh, parents with kids who are struggling all the way up to seniors. Um, so that's an amazing one. And our youth services team, I just have to give a shout out to them in particular. They have really narrowed in on an underserved community, the neurodivergent, autistic children. They have communication boards in the building that help nonverbal children communicate. They have books for dyslexia or for those nonverbal kids that are called out in the collection directly. And they've partnered and produced now a book club aimed at that community that's open to anybody, but it's a sensory book club that focuses in on the things that that community needs to feel welcome and involved. And that has been very popular in this community.
Wow, just an amazing array of services and things that maybe some things you wouldn't think about a library being able to do. So it's amazing that you have that support and the staff to be able to do those things. I've seen the truck around dropping off the books at the different sites around town, and it's just great that the library is able to get out there and offer those services as well. So that's wonderful. But I imagine, Melissa, that there's some challenges as well with some of the work that you do. Can you tell us about some of those things?
There are definitely challenges. As Paula said, we have been in our building now for 50 years, and even though there was a renovation to expand it, we're still running out of space again. I think as Prescott continues to grow, we're seeing more and more of our residents come. Our meeting rooms are filled constantly, as are our study rooms. We're getting requests for more programs, so and again, as Paula said, the building is 50 years old and it's beautiful, but it does have some challenges. Roofing, air conditioning, all of those things are in need of some repair. We're also parking. Parking is not the easiest. Even doing the 50th celebration, we're up on a hill, and that comes with a lot of challenges. And we have the 2-hour parking, and so just not as much parking as we would like, being closer to the downtown area. Of course, funding, we didn't receive as many grant opportunities as we have in the past, so we worry about that. We're also being asked to expand out into other areas of the community that's growing. And we do have funds from our friends of the Prescott Public Library, but of course we have to think of every challenge that comes with that as well, needing additional staffing, all those fun challenges that come with growth, which we're happy to have, but at the same time, we're going to have to really sit down and figure out how to move forward with these requests and things that we're being asked to do.
Sure, so always challenges to look ahead and think about how you can continue to serve the community even in the face of maybe some funding, changes or challenges and things like that. So it's
Correct.
part of the job though, right? Just
It
getting out there.
definitely is.
Absolutely. So Paula, how do you stay relevant as a library in the age of Google and internet searches, out there? And finding out what the community wants from the library?
Community engagement is key. Every year we do a survey, a customer satisfaction survey. Our staff always get way up in the 90% for customer service, but there's always input in there through the comments in addition to the answers that we get that lead us into new services, into finding out trends within the community. And this year, we're going to take it one step further. We're on the precipice of starting a brand new annual strategic plan. And so that is another way to engage with the community, with our community partners, with our leadership and members in the community to find out where do they need us to go next? And then we set forward and put goals in place to get there. So that is going to be key. And I think other ways that we engage with the community on a regular basis are through outreach, getting out to locations that may struggle to get into us. That's not only to serve them, but to hear their needs and consider that input as we move forward. So that, and then partnerships. We're always looking for new opportunities. We've got a couple of really exciting ones coming up this year. We're working with the planetarium at Embry-Riddle. We're going to be doing some really great stuff both in the library and at Embry-Riddle. And then we're also working with the city's tourism department. As you know, they have funding through grants aimed strictly at visitors. Well, Prescott Public Library serves visitors on a daily basis. And so we're going to join forces, and we're going to be augmenting our Library of Things and adding things that both the community and visitors will enhance their time. So we're looking forward to that.
That's great. The partnerships are so critical. The planetarium at Embry-Riddle is one of my favorite places, so I'm so glad to hear that you're partnering with them. They have a great program there.
Yeah.
So yeah, the partnerships are definitely key, and I'm glad to see that you're continuing to seek out those opportunities. So Melissa, let's talk about the future a little bit. What's coming next for Prescott Public Library?
Well, as Paula said, we are working on our strategic plan. It will be a 3-year plan. One of the biggest things we want to do, as Paula mentioned, is engage everyone in finding out how they want us to move forward. We have ideas, of course, that we would like to see, but we need to know what our community is asking for. And so we're constantly looking for ways to improve our technology. So any way that we can make it more efficient, not only for the staff, but for the public as well. We are going to be finding ways to get out into the public. We want to have devices like a hold locker out in the community where you can go and pick up your items 24/7 and return your items also back so that it's more convenient for you. We're also looking at, as Paula said, we really want to be a bigger presence for not only our residents, but for our visitors as well. So we're looking to do a lot more marketing of our services and make sure people know what we offer. I cannot tell you how many times we hear, "I did not know the library does that." It's a daily statement that you hear. And so what can we do to make sure everyone in the community knows all of the amazing things that this library really does for this community?
That's wonderful. Well, I think that's a great segue to communication, letting people know. Maybe there are some people out there that don't know exactly where the library is located and contact information. Paul, I'll toss that to you. Do you mind sharing your address and location and contact information for people who want to reach out?
Sure. We're at 215 East Goodwin on the corners of Marina Street and Goodwin, just up from the courthouse. Our phone number is 928-777-1500.
Great. And I know you're on social media. You have a Facebook page and a great website as well.
Right. And Instagram.
And Instagram. So
Right.
great. So lots of ways to connect. It's really been a pleasure talking with both of you and learning all about the library. I am a member. I just want to let you know that I go through a couple of audiobooks a month and really enjoy that through the Libby program, and having that network of other libraries as well, bringing those books to me is really helpful. So appreciate all the services that you provide. It's been great to have both of you today, and thanks for sharing your information.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
That's all for our show today. I'm John Heiney, Community Outreach Director for the City of Prescott, filling in for City Manager Dallin Kimball. I hope you have a great day.